Hi, everybody. Welcome. And today with Agent, we are analyzing Meant to Be by City and Color. So, Agent, why did you pick that song?
Okay, well, there's a bit of a story here. I go to church, right? And at my church, at first I didn't like Christian music, right? I had a problem with Christian. I thought I always listened to spiritual music, but I always like spiritual music that wasn't like obvious, you know? So they picked this Spotify list. They're playing all these Hillsong worship, which is like this classic, Christian rock stuff, which I always thought was kind of like bland versions of pop music because I was kind of like. And then, anyways, so we had the Spotify list so that people could get used to the songs because I play on the worship team. And I, my friend Rebecca, she started putting like songs like Black Rebel Motorcycle Club and like what was the other one? Oh, I don't know. So I was like, oh, okay, you came on, right? So then I put like Violent Femmes, Jesus Walking on the Water, and I put all these other ones, right? And so anyways, so I put Kanye on it. So I'm going to be kicked off my church Spotify list. like and then Rebecca's like, she's like, Pastor Shelley's gonna be like, oh my God, what am I doing to do with you two, right? So, anyways, I picked a song. I was on my Secret Radio Facebook channel, right? And Secret Radio 69 at Secret Radio. And what came up was a feed from this artist, City and Color, right? The City and Color, a Canadian band. It's I think it was, I can't remember what he played in Alexis on Fire, which was one of the first popular screamo bands, screamo emo kind of bands, right? And he did a side project. He did a song called "Save My Scissors," and in that video, it reminded me of my youth when I was like an indie rocker and I had hair and I'd go see bands and then go get pizza afterwards, stuff they're walking around. Yeah, I was like, it just reminds me of that. So then I saw this thing in City and Color and I was like, dude, like he's a man now. He's got a white beard and stuff, and he's older, right? Like, yeah. So I don't know. I thought, well, I got to check out the song, right? And then I heard the first part. And it said something about the Bible, and I thought, I'm gonna put this on the Spotify list. And then I put it on the Spotify list, and then I went, should I not have put that song on the Spotify list? And like, so I don't even really know. All I know is it kind of says something about the Bible, and I don't know if it says negative, positive. I don't know if it's about a relationship. So we're going into this fresh.
It's excellent. They just released it, and so we have it on.
Yeah, we're having it fairly fresh, right? Like it's just brand new, right? So there you go. There's no actual official video for it. And what's weird too
Yeah.
is that
Mm-hmm.
he did like a generated art video that I found, and it kind of the color palette is the same as the color palette that's behind you, actually.
Oh, nice. Thank you. That is actual painting by my friend EM. She's really cool. Check out her Instagram. I provide the link below. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, when I grew up, I had big city dreams. I wondered if the Bible was wrong. What the hell were they teaching me? So this is interesting, right? Because the types of spiritual songs that I like are always about the struggle with faith. And Israel means to wrestle with God, right? And I always like the
Yeah,
ones where someone's like suffering or they're in doubt or they're in pain and they're wrestling with God. I'm always scared of people that kind of like come to God too easily for some reason.
exactly. Yeah, it's like they cannot be fully committed if that belief did not come through struggle somehow.
Yeah,
Seems like
yeah.
there is one way is to be immediately indoctrinated, but
Hmm.
way other ways to try and to travel all the different roads, and at the end decide the best road is this
Path. The way.
path,
This way.
the
Yeah.
way. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I like the way personally.
The way. I see it like when I grew up, I had big city dreams. So while growing up, he had it, or did he start to growing up, or did he stop having them? Because for me, as for the foreigner, the timings do not match. When I grew up, this means I'm already grown up. I had big city dreams in the past. I wonder if Bible was wrong. So, oh, he talks
When I
about
grew
this
up. So I think it was
specific
like when I was
moment.
growing up, I think.
Uh-huh.
I think it's when I was
Okay.
growing up, I had big city dreams. And then,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's interesting too. It kind of speaks to me like I relate to the stanza too, like from my personal experience relating to him, like, at times I feel kind of ambitious, right? And like
Yeah.
me and you both have artistic, creative ambitions, I guess, so to speak. And like you kind of feel like, you would like to express things, right? And share things or like, or like our big city dreams, like, are they antithetical to spirituality? I don't know.
Yeah. I think why he contrasts it with Bible though. Big
Yeah.
city is absence of modesty, kind of, so it's believed. And Bible teaches modesty. So he dreams like those big dreams, but he should be humble and modest, let's say. And so he had the struggle to compare, to kind of combine the modesty and the big dreams together.
Yeah, like okay. Um, you did another video with Sally Joe a while back. And me and
Yeah.
Sally Joe were talking about this
Mhm.
this thing where some Christians feel that they have to be poor and they have to not like achieve ambition, that to be meek and to not be successful is almost, and to be anything other than that, to be successful or to have money or to whatever, would contrast your spirituality. Like you can't be, a good spiritual person and be successful or and do something ambitious at the same time.
Uh, I think it talks about the temptation that
Mm.
comes with achieving a lot of success and having a lot of money. It's easier when you are, let's say, limited and don't have many options to
Yeah.
stay within your lane. But when you have all those open ideas and everything in front of you and you have so many possibilities, it's very easy to lose faith and to go into temptation. But that's the
Mm.
idea, what I was talking about. You have to come to faith not through indoctrination but through your actual conviction, and then there
Mm.
is no money, no dreams, or like no fame, anything will diverge you from that path. I think big city dreams, they are not necessarily bad. It's just like they are tool for temptation.
Yeah. Yeah. But also like I kind of think of like there's that hmm, yeah. Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life? He has these big dreams of traveling and everything, and then he wonders about his life, and then he thinks, well, I just stayed in this small town and had a family, and like, oh, and I wish I'd never been born, right? And then they look at the influence that his life had, even though he did go on all those adventures and all the positive influences that he had. I don't know how that relates, Nodrik. How does that relate? Why am I bringing that up?
You're bringing it up. It actually binds to me pretty neatly because in order to have a wonderful life, you do not have to have big city dreams. That's it.
Mm.
It's combined to that. Like you don't have to go and explode into the world like a, I don't know.
Comment or
Um,
whatever. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. And there's what you said. Reminds me too, and but there's also like this contrast too. Like it's easier to be faithful or like positive. Well, I don't know what the word it is. Devout,
Humble.
right?
Yes.
When you don't have any options, you have no temptation. You think that you're a really good person because nothing's tempting you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So then, if you chase the big city dreams, then there's going to be temptation, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then it takes a certain type of character to be able to withstand that.
Exactly. I mean, but also there is always hope. I like you can always come back and to always fix your life as well. So I wonder, like here he said, what the hell were they teaching me? Like he's rebelling Like using Bible and
Yes.
hell like in the same
Oh,
stanza.
it's like that common trope in movies where the small town
Yeah.
boy goes to the big city and he gets kind of lost and stuff, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was lost in thought, and I could not hide it. But the sun, it kept on rising, so I played alone. Yeah, so it talks about this doubt that kept plaguing him. What do you see here?
Okay, I was lost in thought. I was thinking about this, like, because I meditate a lot. I think about how often I get lost in thought. My mind gets lost in thought, and the Eastern things are all about to get in touch with spirituality. Is all about calming the monkey mind and being present in the moment, right? You know what I mean? And so I was lost in thought, you know, and even so, like we are both engaged in the meaning crisis and interested in the meaning crisis, and know many people involved in that, right? And that lost and cerebral thing, analyzing spirituality and faith and relationships and stuff, and not living it. You know what I mean? Like just lost in
Yeah,
thought. It almost alienates you from the mystery, right?
yeah. Uh, Also, he could not hide it. People could started noticing that he is
Yeah.
lost in thought, and the sun kept on rising. Time was going by, and he had this struggle in between the Bible and big city dreams. He thought it's either or
Mm.
somehow.
That's interesting. That starts to chord with me. I don't know how I feel about that.
Mm. So time was going by. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Part of me wants to say that, you know, the sun is an interesting image in itself, right? The sun,
Mm-hmm.
like so, like you know, in Western Christian faith, the sun is Jesus, and then I think of Egyptian too. They had worshipped the sun, and so did the Greeks. They had Apollo, right? You know, the sun keeps on rising, right? And then
Yeah.
yeah, hmm.
I
But I don't
always
know about so I played along. Yeah.
I played alone, and this means with the public, general public. He did not play alone with his city dreams, but he played alone with people around him. Because
Hmm.
you play alone, kind of, I think, with others mostly, or like, I mean, I will do what you guys do, and I will keep on doing, and I will play the role that was assigned to me. This kind of thing.
Yeah. That really resonates with me very strongly. Nodrik. That's very good. Yeah. Yeah. Play along, play nice. You know, you ever hear that
Yeah.
saying? Play along to play nice. Yeah. And then as time's passing by and you're maybe living out a role that's not even you, right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
But now that you're gone and I write down the song, I don't believe this is how it's meant to be. The church bells they ring, you can hear the mourners sing. They still believe this is how it's meant to be. Huh. That's some heavy. So I see like this song because we were kind of looking at like the Bible as being kind of like the trajectory of the song, but it also
Mhm.
speaks to a relationship too, to me, right? Like
Yes,
okay, the church bells ring when you get married. Would church bells ring for like a funeral too or something? I
I
don't.
don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a Catholic, so I
Yeah, I
got
don't.
no
Yeah, I'm
idea.
not Catholic either. So,
So, guys, who
you know,
knows if church bells ring if somebody is being?
well, church bells also measure the time too, right?
Hmm.
You know,
Oh
and in
yes,
community
yes.
old medieval communities, the church bells could also signal like being under attack or, you know, or gathering or
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like lots
I
of
think
things.
he means time. Actually, it's
Yeah.
like sun keeps on rising, church bells keeps on ringing. That's right. That's right.
And you can hear the mourners sing. They still
Mhm.
believe this is how it's meant to be. So there's a doubt there. There's a struggle with life and death there, right? And like
Mhm.
time's passing, big city dreams. I don't know. But now that you're
I
gone and I write this song, I don't know this is how it's meant to be. And but now that's gone. So obviously there's a relationship thing that is gone. Or
Yeah.
maybe someone's passed away. Maybe that someone's gone is also tied to the mourners. I don't know.
Mhm. I think somebody died, somebody close to him. It could be a parent, could be a friend, could be a relationship partner. And he actually kept on playing alone for that person. It's kind of unravels here. That's the reason he was playing alone for that person. But now he's in doubt, and the other people who are in church singing, they also lost somebody, but they did not lose faith. He lost somebody. He kind of, the faith is in question right now. He's doubting it, but he hears people who also lost somebody, but they're still singing in church. And the time goes by with the church bells ringing. That's what I project here.
That's an interesting narrative. You had another take could be, um,
Mm-hmm.
do you know the word parochial?
No, teach me.
It's like a small town mentality, right? Like a
Oh,
small church town mentality as opposed to like, I don't know if there's another word that was like relating to like the city or like whatever, like a small town parish, small town mentality, right? And
yeah.
that's that word came to my mind for some reason, right? Um, the church bells they ring, you hear the mourners sing, they still believe this is how it's meant to be. Like you're just supposed to live your life like in this way. You're not supposed to have the city dreams. You just live your life, and not that there's anything wrong with that, right? I mean, it depends on your, I don't know, what would the word be that I'm looking for?
Uh, education, belief system.
Yeah, yeah. They still, so do you think he's being critical? They still believe this is how it's meant to be. Do you think he sees a different way that it's meant to be?
Well, he stopped believing it or he doubts it. I don't believe this is how it meant to be.
Yeah, yeah. He definitely doesn't. Yeah, yeah. There's
He
something that he's struggling
contrasts
with.
himself with them. Plus, he's a
Yes,
singer. He hears them sing in morning, and he's in morning, but he writes down a song. He doesn't sing it, like, or at least not in this stanza. He puts himself into contrast with them. There is, like, I
yes,
already seen the two
yeah.
contrasts, like over there is hell and Bible kind of contrasting each other, big city dreams and Bible contrasting each other, and here is as well. He's in opposition. The wheels touch down, all I can see is your face. Amidst the noise of those lights, the last thing on my mind was my faith.
Oh, so there it is all about his struggle with faith. Someone dies, he's called into question. He sees these people mourning and like
Yeah.
talking about maybe having a eulogy, maybe saying this about this person's life, and then and meanwhile
Mhm.
he's like, is this meant to be? Like, is this like and maybe he doesn't believe. He's called in like it speaks to me like a yeah, it's like I said before, the songs that attract me, that grab me, are always these kind
Mhm.
of like spiritual struggles.
Yes, yes. So the thing is, when he lost somebody uh, in the church, he comes to the church to find the kind of relief of this pain, but everywhere he can see only face of the person he lost, and the faith is the last thing on his mind.
But the other thing is, amidst the noise of those lights, the last thing on my
Oh,
mind was my faith. So maybe
yes.
that person was in the city with him. Or, you know what I mean?
I maybe I yes, already in the city,
Or
the
or maybe
noise.
the lights have something to do with the city. They doesn't have the person have to be in the city. That's maybe reading too much. But do you think that amidst the noise of those lights, that kind of reminds me of big city?
I thought it's still the singing that he hears.
Ah,
So he hears people singing, but to him it's the noise because they let's say that they're singing.
oh, right.
They're singing like what they sing it like hallelujah, 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 and they like keep doing that. Like
Maybe they
it's one
sang.
of them that I know.
I'm gonna sing for you, Nodrik. Maybe they sang "Ole Ole Requiem, Ole in que Domine."
Requiem, holy Domine. Like there is a recording of me singing Hallelujah somewhere in a church. Like my Catholic friends keep trying to convert me, so they always they always like, come on, let's go sing with us, and like, oh god damn it, I really love singing, really
Or
love
maybe
singing.
or maybe like when he's talking about being in the city amidst the noise of those lights, the last thing on my mind is my faith, and then he's
Mhm.
brought back for the funeral, brought back home from the city for the funeral,
Oh
and then all of a sudden he's confronted with life and death, because it really, like, death is really the big thing that shakes people, right? When they're
yeah,
confronted with that. And I don't know where you're at in your life, but like, my family isn't getting older, right? Friends' parents are now getting up there and stuff like that. It means that the line is getting closer to home.
yeah. I mean, we we all kind of heading there in some way or another. It only makes me appreciate the time a lot. That's why we are sponsored by free time, but we are actually, to me, time is synonymous with life. We are sponsored by life that we are given.
And this isn't entirely pertinent to the song, but the one thing that one lesson I've learned a lot from you, Kara, is the thing that giving your attention and your time and how valuable that is. Yeah, yeah. So that's a good lesson. So yeah, so he's struggling. The wheels touch down. What does the wheels touch down? Maybe the plane when he comes home or something, right?
Oh, that's right. The wheels touchdown is precisely for the plane.
I mean, when I think of touchdown wheels, that's the only thing I can think of as a plane.
Do you think he actually went for the city? He left a little town. He went for the city, and then he comes back for the funeral.
Yeah,
Could it be like that?
I was thinking that. I was thinking that. We may be projecting all the hell over that. If
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Please come in and explain it to us. It's an interesting
Who is
story.
it? Oh, something green. Oh, my memory. And then the morning came and the sun started rising, but I was missing my friend. So how do I carry on? Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound like a breakup. And the morning came, and there's the sun again. The sun's rising again, another day, you know?
Time.
Time. Mm. Yeah, it's kind of heavy, this song. I had
Yeah,
no
but
idea.
it's life. It's a good song. It's a good song. It's
Yeah.
everything about appreciating life. Everything is in contrast. How do I carry on missing my friend? Like,
But the meant to be torments me. Like it, but isn't that this thing that people struggle with? Like meaning. What is the meaning of it all? What is the purpose of all? What is, yeah, like meant, meaning, and can it not be a better way or something? Or like, how could it be any better? Like, how can you avoid the wheel of life and death, right?
you
Or
can't
maybe so.
avoid the will of death, but
Or,
but there is, listen. There is this quote which I really like. It says, "We die only once, but we live every day."
yes. I don't believe this is how it's meant to be. Maybe he's talking about that, like how to live life. Maybe he left for the big city and this person didn't, and they just kind of, I don't know, didn't, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Hmm.
I can tell you a story that's a little bit of a personal story.
Oh, I'd
Uh,
love to hear it.
I left a tiny town in Ukraine and I came to Poland. And while I was in Poland, a friend of mine who was like my childhood friend, we grew up together, he died. He was
Hmm.
just 20 years old when he died. He had an illness, it's tuberculosis. And
Hmm.
tuberculosis, it's curable with good equipment, with a little bit of better doctors. It's actually curable. And each time I would go back there and I would see his mom, I would feel that kind of struggle and that pain she's in, and even seeing me, noticing her, like our eyes would cross with that understanding somehow. And that changed me. I stopped focusing on those let's say fluff things, and tried to have meaning in time, and definitely the material things, the money, all this jewelry, clothes, everything, it's meaningless if you cannot give it to somebody to save their life, let's say, right? Like it's and this was a shift. It's when somebody's death actually made a personal shift. That's what happened to me. I started appreciating time more, and I started appreciating actually human connection and conversation with people way more than anything else. It's like I'm
Yeah,
trying
that's
to
great.
encourage it.
You know, I was also thinking of meaning too, right? I was thinking of this today, and like I'm a super martial arts nerd, right? And like Oriental philosophy and stuff, and the Japanese samurai mentality of having a good death. You know what I mean? And some people don't have good deaths, right? Like living your life, living your life good. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Maybe I'm stumbling. I don't know. Well, why do I struggle with Nodrik?
On if there is honor in death, if your death has meaning, so even your death should be honorable and have meaning. But you know, there is this comedian Louis C.K., and he talks about, he goes out of his apartment in New York, and then he sees a homeless man being hit by a tram,
Yeah.
and he was like, what a meaningless death.
Hmm.
But he was shocked by it so much, and it actually made him think about mortality a lot. So I don't know if death is actually that simple, if it's meaningful or meaningless, because there are people who are affected by it, even if it's a homeless person and somebody like Louis C.K. witnessed it.
Hmm.
There is always meaning, we're just not able to see it. I think all of it
Especially,
is both meaningful and meaningless at the same time. Our perspective uh, is the thing that gives it meaning.
which kind of comes full circle to that movie that I love. It's a Wonderful Life, because he thought that he just lived this like parochial life in this small town, working at this bank, and he thought he just like this old house with his family, and all these like petty troubles of every mundane reality were bringing him down, and he just felt like his life had no meaning. And then the angel Clarence comes along and shows him all the people's lives that would have been affected had he not been born. His brother, who was a war hero, saved other people in like the war, and people wouldn't have had homes because he worked at the bank, and just like just the network, the interlaced amount of connections, that happened because he existed, right? That like you said, that we aren't able to perceive. We don't know the effect that our lives have in the lattice of human interconnectedness, right?
Yeah. I was a very little kid when Soviet Union broke down.
Mm.
And during Soviet Union, we just didn't have homeless people. Like we didn't have homeless people at all. Like it's just like they weren't a thing. And
Hmm.
so I was this tiny kid who sees a first homeless person. So they started appearing after 93, let's say. And it's like a man, very rugged, obviously under some influence, just lying on a bus stop like that. And I'm like, Mom, should we call a doctor? Like that this man is obviously ill. Like what's going on there?
Mhm.
And she's like, oh, that's a homeless person. I was like, oh my God, should we help him to get home or something? And she's like, there are more of them. We cannot get a home to everybody. It's like it's overwhelming. They're all over now. You have to get used to it. And I was like, but why? Like, why can't we help all of those? And she said, you know, they have meaning. You see this man, what do you learn from him? Like, what do you see? Is there like he's sick and I need to help him? And she's like, no. Do you want to be in his place? I said, like, no, I don't want to be in his place. And she said, like, that's the lesson. That's what you need to learn. Like
Wow.
his meaning is right now to show people where not to end up. And I was like, that's so horrible. He's like,
Yeah.
is he sacrificing himself to do that? And she said, no, he doesn't do it on purpose, but that's his meaning. And I thought
Mm.
that was so deep. And like, can you
That
imagine
is, yeah.
having a parent who talks to you as if you are an adult? That's
Mm.
what it happens. You teach your child independent thinking. Shout out my mom. I love you. Yeah,
That is really good. I love the way you tied that together. That was a very good story. Thank you for sharing, Kara.
thank you.
Because now that you're gone and I write down the song, I don't believe this is how it's meant to be. The church bells ring. You can hear the mourners sing. They still believe that's how it's meant to be. Like a mother bird crying out for its young, I'll sing out loud with the might in my lungs. He's singing now.
Yes,
But is this his song? Is
yes,
this
that's the
song
one
his hymn?
he's.
This song is his hymn, right?
Yeah. I think this is his tribute.
This is his hymn. Yeah, this is his, not his hymn, but yeah, his tribute. Yeah, that's a good. I like that better. Wow. Well, I'm relieved because I don't think I would get kicked off my Spotify list.
It's not against faith. It's a
Yeah.
song about finding comfort in or finding meaning in death.
Mm.
So he comes back to the mourners. Let's say the mourners sing, they still believe. I will sing it out loud with might in my lungs. In a way, with his own song and his own story, he joins people who sing. He joins the mourners.
I thought about this. We were talking. I was talking about this Spotify list and the different types of songs, right?
Mhm.
And you need to have songs and stories. Like there are people that are just lucky that they're born with like just this inner faith and inner light, right? And then there's those of us that fall into the dark and get out of the dark. But like those people need to reach down with their art and give those other people a light. So like when they listen to a song and they hear the struggle and it relates to their struggle, then they can, yeah, that's in an ironic kind of meta note. That's the meaning of this song. And then he's singing the mic with his lungs. And ironically, is it ironic? I don't know. Hashtag Alanis. I'm just joking. Yeah. So yeah, ironically, like yeah, he's doing it right. He speaks to the doubt, and at the end, with the might in my lungs, right?
I will sing. So he could not join throughout the song to them with the mourners. Um, but now he kind of is, but on his own way, on his own terms.
Hmm. Yeah, his own way, his own terms. I like that.
Yeah,
Maybe that's hashtag individualism. I'm just joking.
exactly.
Yeah, and that kind of relates to me, like the way that he comes to it and the way that he struggles, right? Kind of came about his own way, right? Like Like
Yeah,
this is his way of expressing it, right? You know what I mean?
exactly. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, Agent, what did you pick up from that song? I think everything, the new thing.
Yeah, it was a lot more heavy than I thought. I was kind of thinking because when I first heard it, I only heard it cursively, the lyrics a little like I didn't do a deep dive in the lyrics
It's
like this.
really
I just listened to the song.
beautiful.
The
Yeah.
song is pretty. He has an amazing voice, like a really, really kind of like yeah, which is funny because his voice is so like almost sweet in a sense.
It
Yet the
sounds
band
like a
that
violin.
and then which is funny because Alexis on Fire, the band that came out was like ah, like yeah, so yeah. Yeah, so what did I get out of this? So at first I thought maybe he was just using the Bible and that is a reference to some failed relationship. But then as you got into it, it was much heavier song than I thought. And I'm glad that I came into it kind of like unprepared and we explored it just spontaneously. I don't know, did you listen to the song much before we
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
I took my time and I listened to it a couple of times, and I followed the guys on Twitter as well. And
oh
it's
yeah. Yeah.
I'll totally tag them. And it's beautiful. It's something that sweetens you, calms you down, but then it kind of hits you with that message.
It kind of hits you like in the chest, like a little bit, like
Yeah.
like like almost like death hits you. You know what I mean? It's like, oh.
Mm.
And then in the end, he's like, he's singing with the might in his lungs, right? Like that power is expression of. Do you think he believes I will sing it when my mother crying out for its. What about the mother bird crying out for its young?
It's
Like a mother
pain.
bird.
A bird is a singer. Like all the
Oh
singers are
yeah,
birds. And
yeah,
father bird doesn't really cry out for his young. I mean, it's not believed so. It's not observed, but mother bird would like come and call for her young.
yeah. And if you call for her young, what are her young? They're lost.
Yeah.
She wants, yeah, like a mother bird calling for her children
Yeah,
or
come
whatever.
back.
Come back,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
Huh,
that's
that's
the thing.
hmm. And Nodrik, what's your final take?
My final take is that city dreams and faith, they do not go against each other. Uh, what we need is uh, appreciating the time together. It's like I'm
Mm.
totally projecting. And at some point, we will get there to the place that we think is the best for us, whether it's faith or even the doubt. Even the best place for us is doubt. We will keep on being in a doubt, in doubt. Yeah. So
I wonder, there's one thing that I'm left with a question, right? Like I started off the talk when I said that I was attracted to song. I mean, it relates to my experience. Like, you don't have to fall to like, some people don't have to fall to find things. But there's something to me, it, well, perhaps it's maybe in Christianity, right? Like, the loving the sinner who comes back, the lost sheep, right? The one in the 99, right? Like, like comes back and the rejoice for that, or the what was the son that went away? The story of the blank son. Anyways, someone will know what I'm talking about. This the son that goes away. He goes away to go for he spends his father gives him his inheritance, and he goes away and spends it all, and he ends up feeding the pigs, and then coming back, and then he comes back, and his brother's all mad at that story. Anyways, whole other topic. But there's something about that rejoice for like, yeah. So I wonder, like, do you need to fall? Like, it's really good for someone to just live a good life and just always be in the light. But like, there's something about like the noble thing about a person that kind of like struggles and wrestles with faith is that if they can overcome that, they can kind of help others that are lost in the dark, right?
exactly. I'm also talking about that a lot. It's very important. If you already were the drunk on a bench,
Yeah.
a homeless person, your service to others to show others how not to live. But if you come back from that and talk about it, like I was that drunk on a
Yeah.
bench, I came back from it, there is a
Yeah.
way, then you're a much bigger teacher. Like
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
way, your life matters. Either
You
way.
could, yeah. Yeah. I mean, some people learn a lot by books and theory and stuff, but you know what? There's something to be said about the man that's lived experience, right?
Oh,
That can
I'm
relate to
all
that.
about experience. It's
Yeah.
like if you keep remixing old knowledge, that's it is. You are just a remixer of old knowledge. You just like keep repeating the old knowledge to other. If you get the experience, if you live your life, if you have a story, go out, tell your story. You are relatable because generally people don't live like this, that they do not go and remix the books in their life. That's not their experience. It makes people unrelatable, let's say. And to be a teacher, you need to be relatable. You need to speak something that people, yeah, you have been there, you went through the struggle, now you mastered it, we will listen to you. But if you are a teacher who's like, I read other teachers, so let me relate to you what from other teachers I have related. And it's like, we could have read those books as well. Like, thanks. Why do you think your brain is better than ours? Also arrogance. Like, it comes this kind of immediate repulsion from that. Again,
Yeah. Yeah.
experience.
And the other thing true is like any knowledge that I haven't been able to apply, that I haven't struggled with and really made my own, I've forgotten. It's just useless. It takes up space in my head. That
Hmm. Well, I think you did apply every knowledge you read in a book for yourself.
hmm,
Like all of it is building you up who you are.
hmm.
It's just like whatever is not useful to your day-to-day life, it just moves away like those wishes. It just like goes with time. It's like it's not, your brain is like, what knowledge is useful when you wash your hands? What knowledge is useful? Like you shared that that post. You said like, when I clean, I remember wax on, wax off, that thing. Remember?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it's actually really good. So you are like, oh, you're incorporating your knowledge of kung fu or also the movies into your day-to-day life, into
Yeah, yeah.
things to do for yourself, for others. And it's also service. Like having a job is service for others.
Hmm. It's really good. Yeah. So, how do you think it's meant to be, Nodrik?
It's meant to be that we analyze that song.
Hmm.
Perhaps there is a
Yeah,
message that will reach one person and they
yeah.
will notice friends and they will understand what the fluff is. Perhaps. But again, all experience you have to, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of lessons and like how it's meant, think about how it's meant to be. And when you're struggling, you don't find meaning, maybe there's meaning to your struggle. Like maybe you're being tempered like a sword, right? Like or maybe you're, you know what I mean? Like so yeah,
There
maybe.
is always meaning. It's maybe the homeless person on a bench or the homeless person who died under the tram in New York and Louis C.K. seen him. Maybe that person himself did not realize his own meaning. But
Mm.
everything has meaning.
It's like rain on your wedding day. No.
Mhm.
It's like it's like yeah, there's something ironic about that. I don't know what it why where was I going with that? What was ironic about it? What did you just say? You said
Schrodinger's meaning. So at the same time, everything has meaning, but it also doesn't. So for the homeless person, it did not have meaning at all.
yes.
At the same time, it's like his life didn't have meaning. That's why he would not fight for himself. but for
Mm.
others his death had meaning. So it's like at the same time life can have meaning depending on the observer.
Mm. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's really good. I like that. That's fun. Hashtag Karen Nodrik's a genius.
And hashtag meaning.
No, I was going to talk about the meaning crisis, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that I struggle with meaning, and meaning is one of the essential struggles of the human condition, right? When you
Yeah.
wonder how it's meant to be, and when you ask how it's meant to be, then you think, how can it be better, right? I mean, you can come up with some bad answers to that question, but if you struggle with it, if you just incorporate some knowledge and enact some thing that is just like some theory, like you can cause a lot of damage. Whereas if you experience it, like even like let's say you learn how to be a carpenter, right? Yeah, I mean, I've been told about people that are in trades where they're like, yeah, the planners and the designers and the engineers, they come up with all these ideas, but then we got to build it in real life, and it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? But it's a
Yeah,
combination. The engineers and the theorists are needed, but so are the people that put it into application.
that's awesome. Exactly. Well, agent, thank you for bringing the song in. It does have meaning for me, and I hope for others too. Thank you for having free time. It's amazing. Like it's our life. People check out Agent's radio channel. I will provide the links below, possibly his future YouTube. And bye.
Bye. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So we're going right. We're going right away. Hey, we're getting right into this.
Exactly. Good morning and good night. Good morning from Warsaw and good night from Canada. I mean,
I wonder if we know anyone that could help us out on that. Anyways. Hashtag inside joke.